This episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky podcast is brought to you by Audible.com.
Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky.
Audible.com. Over 85,000 titles to choose from for your iPod or MP3 player.
Warning!
The podcast you're about to hear is very filthy. We say naughty words you would use as an adult anyway. It'll cause you not to eat your vegetables, and your mom generally thinks it's a bad idea.
Any moment of the show that has any similarity to the history of any person living or dead, real or fictional, to real events are entirely unintentional and coincidental. Unless we're specifically noted otherwise in the cast and crew credits, all celebrity voices are impersonated, and no celebrity has endorsed any aspect of this show. Hey everyone, welcome out to episode 145 of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, the week of June 18th, 2011. I'm Nick Nitro, along with me as always is...
John.
Did you say June 18th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today's the...
It's the week of June 18th, Nathan. What's Friday?
I don't know, June 18th?
You're buddy. Alright.
Oh, I'm Nathan.
John, did you say your name?
Yeah,
okay.
It was better the first time.
Yeah, well, too late.
It was compelling and rich.
And welcome out to another episode. Well, we have a really big episode planned.
Oh God, do we?
Actually, we do, Nathan. And at the end of the last half,
duper gang.
last half of the show, we actually have you and me.
You and I
are interviewing Marc Guggenheim.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, big show.
I'm a little nervous.
A little nervous, and so, but we also got something really. We got some cool stuff. Last episode, there was the question posed, or actually, you threw the gauntlet down, Nathan, which is I talked about how apparently it's normal. I think it's normal that people wear socks inside out.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't, and I am ashamed to admit that I wish I never brought it up because I am me and like one other person are the only one that wears their socks inside out, like normal. Like to them, it's normal, like all the time. Like out of all the poll results, because we asked a poll on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we had 20 votes for I wear my socks normal, which is how they're designed. And then 2 votes, that's me and this other person, wear their socks inside out, usually for wintertime, and then normal summertime, it's normal. So I eat crow on that. Now, some of the comments we had was Jamie said, I have to ask, Nick, why do you wear your socks inside out? It's more comfortable. And I swear to God, after doing some tests myself on the subject, I find that it feels like my feet are more insulated. Now, I don't know if that might be true. Maybe it's just it's probably a head game thing. Probably. But I remember trying that a few times where my feet in the wintertime do feel a lot, not only comfortable, but more...
Wear wool socks.
Well, I do wear wool socks.
Inside out?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah. So,
I love hospital socks.
Oh, I hate those. I hate those because they about ready to fall off all the time.
Well, I stole some from my grandma. Well, my grandma, I didn't steal them.
You stole some from your grandma.
No, technically, first off, it's a great grandma. She's 90.
Wow.
She's 94.
Oh,
I didn't
clearly
really
a
steal them.
difference.
I was about to, and she said I could just have them.
Okay.
I find they do fall off if you wear them with shoes, but they are the most comfortable, and they're yellow. I just think sometimes it's a nice little color.
Well, Brandon also asked.
What?
What?
I don't know.
Well, Brandon,
really are comfortable.
one of our listeners, Brandon, said, "You should see how the Red Hot Chili Peppers wear their socks." LOL.
That's because they don't wear socks.
Well, no, they do actually. When they do concerts, they wear nothing. That's all they wear.
Okay.
And Joy, one of our listeners, says, "LOL, what a question." And indeed, what a question it is, because it sucked that I even put it up. I should have never done that. But one of the other polls we threw out there was because we were talking about comic book films last week, and I think you also said throw this up there. And so I did like a few days later, which is how many of you saw X-Men First Class? If you had the chance to see the flick, what do you think? One person didn't see it. I want to, though. Another person didn't see it. No desire to. 6 people saw the film, including myself. I saw the film, best X-Men film to date. And then we had...
What?
Yeah.
Have you seen the second one?
Yeah, I've seen the second one. It's better than the second one.
Have you seen the first one?
Yeah.
Have you seen the third one?
Oh, I wish I didn't, but yes. I've seen the third one.
I agree with that. Well, it can't be hard to beat Wolverine, but
oh yeah,
you just have to show up. But are you? Oh, then I have to see it then.
It's no. I thought okay. This was
First Class.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So, but anyway,
I think it's easier if you never read anything.
You have no expectations when you're going
to
in.
see the movie.
Sometimes yes, sometimes yeah. Like
that could be why I like the first 3 movies so much.
Well, I've never read the original X-Men First Class because X-Men First Class is actually is a mini series. Like it's like an alternate universe take of X-Men. It's not the actual because the original X-Men were Beast, Iceman, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Angel.
No Storm.
No Storm. Storm didn't show up until the Uncanny X-Men, which was years later with Colossus, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. And matter of fact, Wolverine premiered in The Incredible Hulk, but yeah, I know. But yeah, so that was our X-Men poll. But one of the things that I really enjoy is we've been getting screeners, and one of the really cool things we just actually all got done watching was FX's new show, which is by the time this is out, will premiere next week. Is FX's Wilfred, starring Elijah Wood and James Gunn, I believe his name is. And but we just saw Wilfred, and okay, I will tell you because I watched all 3 episodes because I thought we were going to do this last night. Yeah. I watched all 3 episodes, and here's my first thoughts. I did not like it, and I even said that before we sat down. My thought was it feels like the show's trying to go somewhere, and then it just doesn't feel like it's going. Like it feels full of like philosophical ideas, or at least like the dog feels ideas, and then it just sort of goes nowhere. Well, I think really, and I didn't find any of it funny at all. I think I found like 1 or 2 things funny, but yeah. Watching it with a group of people made the show funny. I don't know how. I don't know why, but like
I thought it was good. Probably because I questioned every damn thing.
No, come on, that doesn't. No, you were questioning stuff that doesn't. I didn't even think about.
I understand why you're questioning it because.
Well, no, in the first episode, in the first like 20...
That's what you do. You ruin things.
That's what you do. You question things.
Well, the first 20, 30 minutes, like, even I was sort of questioning, like, is it real? Is it not? How does the logistics of it work?
Right.
You know, do other people recognize the dog, or do they look... you don't know. And then at some point, you just stopped caring about that and just paid attention to the show. Uh-huh. And then this time I actually enjoyed it a lot more. And
I think you just have to watch it. Well, it's kind of interesting because David Zuckerman is one of the creators of it.
Yeah.
And he created Family Guy with Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so Wilfred is kind of like Brian.
That's what I was saying.
Except Brian, everybody knows that Brian... You know, Brian can talk to other people, and he goes on dates with women, and
it's no big. Yeah, he's a human almost, but he's a dog,
and he still has dog tendencies. But so there's like that talking dog aspect of it. But in Wilfred, it's just Elijah Wood's character is the only one that sees him talking and doing human things, and
right. It was a lot funnier when I was watching with you guys. I don't know. It has to be like for me I don't know what it was. Maybe my mind wasn't just, but like maybe I was trying to wrap my head around the enigma of what was really going on.
Right.
Because there were some parts I laughed, like in the pilot episode, they're at a cafe and he's obviously motorboating the girl. And the girl's just like, oh, he really likes me. And then the dog starts humping him. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. But, like, that was the only part of the pilot I found somewhat humorous. Oh, and at the end, he's humping the teddy bear.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, like, I wasn't really... Yeah, watching it this time, the whole, like, first 10 minutes was actually pretty funny. and I'm picking up on stuff I wasn't even paying attention to. Like Randy, it's Ethan Suplee. He has a laser pointer.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at this dumb dog, and he's like waving it around. He's like, Ron, do you see this? Am I blind? I swear to God, this is here. No, it's not. And he's like chasing it around like a dog would.
Yeah.
And finally, this Indian woman comes out, and I didn't get this the first time I saw it. I felt like such an idiot.
Dot's not feathers.
Yeah, it's the dot. Or did I say feathers?
No, I just.
Not the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was just clarifying.
Yes, good man.
Indians.
But they had the little dot. I forget what it's called. It's like a something bead on the top of their forehead, but it's red. And he looks right at her, and there's the bead, and he goes for it. And next thing you know, he's being hauled away. And I did like that. I did like that line when he's getting hauled away. He's like,
"Come visit me at the farm. Come visit me. Bring bread for the ducks." Yeah.
Now, and the other thing I did like though too, which was, and I thought
Bindi.
What's that? It's a Bindi, yeah.
Bindi.
Or Bindi, Bindi, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a gateway to their soul or something, isn't it?
Like a third eye.
Or I don't know what it is, but
it's something like that.
It
Yeah,
has something to do with their mind or soul or something.
You want me to continue or just kind of?
It's all right.
No. What?
What is it?
I don't know. I gotta click on it.
Okay.
Family Guy does a reference to it in one of their episodes.
By women, men, girls, and boys, and no longer signify age, male.
Peter's trying out all different religions.
Yeah.
And he goes and sees, some Hindu guy or whatever, and he's got the bead on him, dot on his forehead. And while he's like trying to meditate, he tackles the guy, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I thought there was a sniper on you." It's like there was a sniper aimed at your forehead.
Men wear it occasionally as a puja, which is a ritual worship, or marriage, or arati, which symbolizes the waving of lights on festive occasions, such as Baduj, Karve, Chad, or Padwa, or Dashera. I'm done.
Okay.
Some of those words have like 3 letters out of the same.
Well, what did you think of the show? Because you were laughing a few times, and there was a few
Once
times
I just realized that until... Let me finish. It took 3 episodes to realize that there's nothing I can do to fix the fact that this makes absolutely no sense. It really isn't a bad show. I mean, it's one of the most original programs I've seen in a long time. I just try to figure out how they're going to explain everything, and then I'm assuming, and I mean, the Zuckerman fact, it could be like there's just no point.
Yeah.
Because there is no point to Family Guy, and there never will be. It's just a different form of comedy, and maybe this is just a different form. I don't know. We can't base it all just off of 3 episodes, but
right. And
I can see it either they're going to explain it.
I don't know if they will explain it.
Yeah, I think.
The Australian show.
They might explain it like why he finally sees him, but I mean, as far as like the dog doing, sitting there drinking a beer, holding a beer, and drinking a beer. Yeah, a dog cannot do that. We get it. We understand. Dog cannot sit there and smoke a bong.
Well, something in the 3rd episode, which is he breaks into Ethan Supplee's house and shits in his boot, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But he makes the comment. He goes, "Yeah, I did break into your house, break your window." Now, see, when you watch the episode before that, or episode 2 before that, when it happens, Wilford breaks the window. Now, you can make the assumption that Elijah's doing most of the stuff that a human would be required to do, but the dog is doing the rest. That the dog would do. I mean, again, there really is there's no sense to it, because the dog's not going to be smoking a bong. There's no way he can fucking light it. I mean, I don't even think a fucking ape could light that shit.
He lacks the opposable thumb. Apes cook, because apes have opposable thumbs.
Or maybe
the coordination.
I don't know. Maybe there is a dog.
There has to be a dog, because everybody sees the dog.
Yeah, there is a dog, but Elijah Wood's character is just nuts.
Yeah,
and he sits there and drinks, and he's an alcoholic, and he's a pothead, and all that stuff. And
well, the thing I thought
he's really doing it, just sitting there by himself, and there's a dog sitting there and not doing any of it.
Smoke weed every
and he's
day.
Well, the thing I thought
thinks
was
he's
interesting
talking
is they
wrong.
quickly disparage the fact that he's not nuts because he overdosed.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, that's a placebo.
Sugar pills.
It's sugar pills. So the worst thing, which you like that a lot. I remember you laugh. I think that's the first really good laugh you got out of the entire episode.
It's
Which
like, well, what are the side effects of sugar pills? Sugar rush,
sugar rush, diabetes.
high adult onset diabetes or whatever it's.
Yeah. And loss of teeth. Loss of.
I got diabetes.
Diabetes.
Call Liberty. I hope you
Liberty
live a
Mutual.
better life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
it's right.
Yeah, but yeah, I the second time around I greatly enjoyed it, and no, I liked Wilfred, and I actually want to see the rest of it, and I think it'll be good. But passing grade for both of you as well.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, anything else we want to add before we'll take a break? And
Usually before the break, we would ask about how our weeks and stuff have been.
you really want to talk about that? How was the Warrior Dash?
Excellent. My wounds, I have some scarring, but my wounds are okay. Mm-hmm. It would take a while to talk about it, but it really was a fun race. There was a lot to do.
Did you go through the fire, or did they have a
You
fire?
jumped over fire.
How was that? Did anyone fall in the fire?
Not that I saw.
That's a little depressing, isn't it?
It was at the very end
I
of
don't
the
know.
race.
That's me.
Like, the only thing, it was the fire, and then mud with barbed wire. Like, if the fire would have been at the end, I would have been like, fuck it.
How did you do the barbed wire? How did that go?
It's
You gotta,
going, it's
crawl
going,
under it probably, right?
well, okay. Not barbed. What's the stuff that looks like a natural sign that's kind of bent? You know what I'm talking about? Kind of looks like this.
He's
It's a
showing.
horrible drawing.
I really
hold on.
It's okay.
Okay, well, there's just a lot of different obstacles in it, like walls you climb.
Yeah.
You climb a giant
Did it make
net.
the race feel like if you basically ran a 5K just straight?
This was
I think it'd be
much,
pretty
much,
cool.
much worse.
Well, I know, but so you thought it was
Hold
worse?
on, I gotta get rid of my wiener.
Wow.
But I really. Okay, a little preface for that. Nathan earlier is on his iPad right now, and he drew
Okay.
a picture of a wiener. So he's talking about the picture on his iPad, not his actual dick. He's not gonna. Oh, that was another funny thing from Wilfred. It's like she has one fatal flaw, mate. It's
Okay.
like she has a dick.
So, you know how like a fence has this stuff?
Uh
Does that help at all? You know what I'm talking about? How on a fence? Okay.
huh. Win, lose, or draw with DJ Meat. I'm
drawing it right. Like you have, it looks like that in the middle, like little coils, and then like that stuff. Like you have your fence, and there's like all those things all around it, like that metal stuff that if you're climbing.
That looks
the
like
fence,
barb. It looks like barb.
Yeah, that's the stuff that we were climbing under.
Okay.
So it's kind of like barbed wire.
Okay.
I mean, it still fucking hurt on my fucking back.
So it's
Sorry, that's
probably
not
barbed wire.
It was. But I
Well,
thought,
then what the fuck are you talking about? It's not barbed wire,
no,
but it
I was
is.
thinking of prison where you have the curly stuff.
That's
Like-
barbed wire.
Yeah, like the big curly stuff.
That's barbed wire.
Yeah.
But that.
It's just the barb is probably more distantly laid out, or it's a lot closer together, or there's more barbs.
It's only like this
In the
big. Like this big of barbs
Barbs.
Barbs.
going across this metal chain.
Well, sometimes. Oh my god.
Anyway, most of the race is in mud.
Yeah.
So all your energy is going to just getting your feet out of it. And then, like the Metro Park, how you go up those hills, instead of just going up and one, down one, there are like 4 sets of 5.
Oh my
And they're
god.
all mud. Mm-hmm. And it's mud going up and then mud going down. So if you're not like
It's just like
leaning back, like if you're me and I ran down an entire mountain. I have no idea how I didn't hit anybody or die. I saved 5 minutes. At one point, I ended up. I think I fell over, but there were no rocks. So
Right.
I slid and somehow got up and just kept going. Like I was the most aerodynamic piece of. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't kill
But
anybody.
it was fun though.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, running a 5K, 5 miles, I would say. would be a hell of a lot easier.
it's 5K is like 3.2.
Yeah, 5K is 3.1 miles. That's basically what this was.
Yeah.
But running it would have been so much easier just like on a road. been more boring.
Did it make it seem like it was a longer race? Cause
Oh my god.
doing all that stuff?
The cargo net's 40 feet in the air. Like, I got to the wall, like, it's one of those things where it's basically, it's not really a circle, but it's we'll just say it's a circle. It's not, there's a couple more turns, but basically it's a circle.
You end and begin, you begin and end at the same place.
Almost. That's why it's almost like a circle.
Okay, well.
I draw it, but apparently I'm not very good. So, you see it. You see the net's kind of like one of the final obstacles. It's like within the last 7.
Is it really 40 feet in the air?
It really is. I mean, you climb for a little bit.
Okay.
Like, I'm big. I figured out a way to get up there faster. Like I would, I'd say like 12 inches by 12 inches is each like little netting. You know, talking about like a cargo net.
Okay.
Like each
was it one of those ones
4.
where there's a net on one side and the other, and it's a straight drop down? There's this like
No, there's a
wood
net on one side
and a net on the other.
and then on the other side. It's about 40 feet up, and then you.
Well, sometimes in
climb over
military
40 feet
stuff
down.
they do a net on what to get up, and then on the other side it's just pure wood.
No, they had a wall like that. There was a wall where you had a rope and you could climb up. On the other side, it was no rope, just the I guess you call them steps, but they're not really steps. I don't know what you call them.
Did anyone,
Like each step was only like this
Did
far
anybody
off the
skip?
wall itself. So I almost slipped. I almost slipped
That was
off
my-
because
yeah.
my feet are really fucking big.
did anyone?
It said something like you can pass certain obstacles if you don't want to do them.
I have no idea. I
Didn't see
You didn't see anyone
Well,
do that either.
the whole clause you read is "I will not sue." So I just signed all of it because I knew if I got hurt, it's my fault. I'm the idiot
Right,
doing the
right,
race.
right, right.
If I break my
Right,
ankle,
right.
unless a bear does it, it's my fault.
Well, no. My question is that did you see anybody like skip anything?
Oh, I never saw anybody skip anything.
Well, that's pretty good then. I don't know if that was me. I wouldn't have gotten through any of it, but I mean, I at least would have for sure skipped
See, that's
over the wall.
thing. In my race alone, there were 4 people who, no offense, they were big. They were big people, but I guess they ended up walking most of it, but they did it. And unless
the race,
a lot of
from
people
what I read
actually
online,
will run and walk. Like, it is very, very tiring. You spend the first minute walking anyway.
I mean, from what I read
if you're in the
online
back-
was they have awards and stuff at the end, I guess.
Oh, I didn't stay for that. You got a free beer though.
Yeah, I mean,
which
they have
makes
awards
no
and stuff
sense.
at the end, I guess. You know, fastest time for man, fastest time for women, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But I think the whole point of the race is to just finish it.
Yeah.
You know,
like any race,
You get a
if you
fun-
go to any fight, like actual race,
like if
Nowadays.
you train to get into Boston Marathon, like if I trained to run in the Boston Marathon, obviously my first time, I'm not going to be. It's not like I'm going to go in it to try to win, but I'd like to finish.
right.
You know, even if I'm the take the longest, if I finish it, I could say I ran the Boston Marathon.
yes.
You know,
Yeah, that's actually a goal of mine is to eventually do a race.
Mm-hmm.
That's years off, but
I'll race you down the steps at the end.
You'd be surprised.
yeah, you'll probably win.
But you'd be in a race.
Yes, but then I lose.
So
I don't want to lose a race.
You're in a race.
No, I have this fear that if I did do a race, no matter how thin I was, it would be like JD and Scrubs, which is it's like the race is over, it's the next day, and then like I'd be like JD, which is just like begging Ted, the lawyer, who is like the weakest character there, who finished it first, to drag me across the finish line.
I can't beat rabies.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't beat rabies.
But no, that's my fear. I don't know, but
No, I'd highly recommend it if anybody's looking for
I guess they're doing another one in September.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh,
I think they
geez.
call it the Spartan Run though, isn't it?
It's on WarriorDash.com.
Okay. Because there's one called the Spartan where I guess it's kind of like that, but it's 10 miles.
Oh,
okay.
That might be
Well, did you?
was it like a whole weekend?
I mean, my chest hurt at the end of it. I don't know. I'd die. I would die.
surprised. I was surprised you actually did. Not
No, yeah.
because
The only reason I
because
did
the
it
way
was
you were
because
feeling,
the
yeah.
doctor said, "Well, I don't really notice anything." So I was like, "All right, well,
Yeah.
let's see how it goes." I honestly did. There were parts of it I walked,
Yeah.
like the water.
Did all you guys finish at the same time?
Oh yes, we actually timed it that way, so we all finished at the same time, which sounds kind of gay, but It's kind of rewarding.
You were with a group of people?
Yeah, me. You remember the twins, Molly and Megan? You remember them from Todd's?
Yeah.
Megan and her husband ran with me.
Okay.
I thought Molly did.
Molly was supposed to, and she ended up not. She forgot to tell me. She was supposed to be my running buddy because Megan and Luke are really in shape. But the people wore costumes, and I don't understand it. Like, there were guys just wearing Speedos.
Because they're dressed up like the actual fucking Spartans and all that shit. Warriors.
No, warriors wore shields and armor.
No, they didn't. Not in Roman times.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, times infinity, I win. You lose.
They wore gear.
They wore gear, but not all the time.
Yeah, but they wore gear when they went to battle.
So you're saying when they were doing fucking
I'm just
Olympics.
saying, with all the stuff that
But you're not going to battle, Nathan. You're not going to battle.
We were dashing. It was a battle.
You're dashing like a fucking reindeer?
No, that's frolicking.
No.
Deer frolic. They don't dash.
Reindeer. No. I said reindeer, not deer.
Reindeer fly.
They also dash and they dance.
That's
Name
gummy.
brand.
That's gummy bears. Gummy bears.
Then what does Dasher do, Nate?
Dash.
He dances and he prances.
No, that's
No,
his
he
friend.
dashes.
That's his friends.
Exactly.
He doesn't dash.
There's Dasher and
one
Dancer.
Vixen.
And
Okay, does
Prancer and
Dancer
Vixen.
dance? Does Prancer prance? Does Vixen vix? Does Donner don?
Actually, Vixen vexes, and no one likes
irritates.
it. To irritate, to make anger.
Make ire.
To make anger.
Make ire.
All right. Well,
We got way off topic.
yeah, it's okay. So,
We'll just edit all that.
yeah.
So you can just say, I'll say the word good. That way you edit it all. You say, how's Warrior Dash? And now I'll just cut out to good. it was good.
Well, good, Nathan. Good.
There we go.
And I'm glad that was such a wonderful explanation
It really-
of how things went. What were you going to say, Nathan?
I was going to say it really was, but I thought you were going to say something else. Sometimes I don't listen to you. I just hope that your question leads to what I'm going to answer.
Well, anyway, we'll be right back with Marc Guggenheim right after this.
Yay.
In this part of Africa, we all have a say. Whenever something bad happens, we just throw our hands to the sky and say, Has Adiga Ibowai.
Hasadiga Ibowai?
It's the only way to get through all these troubled times. There's war, poverty, famine. But having a saying makes it all seem better. There isn't enough food to eat. Hasadiga Ibowai. People are starving in the street. Hasadiga Ibowai.
Well, that's pretty neat. Does it mean no worries for the rest of our days?
Kind of. We've had no rain in several days. Hasadiga Ibowai. And 80% of us have AIDS. Hasadiga Ibowai. Many young girls here get circumcised. The clits get cut right off. Well,
And so we say up to the sky.
Hasadiga Ibowai. Now you try. Just stand up tall, tilt your head to the sky, and list off the bad things in your life.
Somebody took our luggage away.
Hasadiga Ibowai.
The plane was crowded and the bus was late.
Hasadiga Ibowai. When the world is getting you down, there's nobody else to blame. Raise your middle finger to the sky and curse his rotten name.
Wait, what? Hasadiga Ibowai. Am I saying that?
Ibowai.
Excuse me, sir, but what exactly does that phrase mean?
Well, let's see. Ibowai means God, and Hasadiga means fuck you. So I guess in English it would be fuck you, God.
Hasadiga Ibowai.
What? When God fucks you in the butt. Hasadiga Ibowai. Fuck God right back in his cunt. Hasadiga Ibowai.
Excuse me, sir, but you should really not be saying that. Things aren't always as bad as they seem.
Oh, really? Well, take this fucking asshole Matumbo here. He got caught last week trying to rape a baby.
What? Why?
Some people in his tribe believe that having sex with a virgin will cure their AIDS. There aren't many virgins left, so some of them are turning to babies.
But that's horrible.
I know.
Hasadiga Ibawai.
Here's the butcher, he has AIDS. Here's the teacher, she has AIDS. Here's the doctor, he has AIDS. Here's my daughter, she has a wonderful disposition. She's all I have left in the world. And if either of you lays a hand on her, I will give you my AIDS.
If you don't like what we say, try living here a couple days. Watch all your friends and family die. Hasadiga Ibawai for you. Hasadiga Ibawai. Fuck you got in the ass, mouth and cunt. Fuck you got in the ass, mouth and cunt. Fuck you got in the ass, mouth and cunt. Fuck you in the eye. Fuck you got in the ass, mouth and cunt. Fuck you got in the ass, mouth and cunt. Fuck you got in the ass, mouth and cunt. Fuck you in the other eye.
Hey, you know what book I've not read in a while?
What?
Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. There's a few new ones I wouldn't mind having either.
I'm busy a lot of the time too. Yeah, that's why I listen to audiobooks on my iPod Touch. It helps me stay in touch with the books I want to read and allow me to, fit in between the rest of my responsibilities. That is why for some of you listening to the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 14-day trial to give you a chance to check out their service.
I was able to sign up and get a free copy of one of my favorite books, Catch Me If You Can.
Hey, do they have Horton Hears a Who?
Let me check.
Yes, they do.
So if you'd like to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky.
What's that again for the free audiobook?
Again, that's www.audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky for your free audiobook.
Hello, my name is Elder Price, and I would like to share with you the most amazing book. Hello, my name is Elder Grant. It's a book about America a long, long time ago. It has so many awesome parts, you simply won't believe how much this book can change your life. Hello, my name is Elder Green. I would like to share with you this book of Jesus Christ. Hello, my name is Elder Young. Hello, did you know that Jesus lived here in the USA? You can read all about it now. Hello. In this nifty book, it's free. No, you don't have to pay. Hello. Hello. My name is Elder Smith. And can I leave this book with you for you to just peruse? Hello. 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 I'll just leave it here. It has a lot of information you can really use. Hello. Hi. My name is Jesus Christ. You have a lovely home. Hello. It's an amazing book. Bonjour. Hola. How? Me llamo Elder White. Are these your kids? This book gives you the secret to eternal life. Sound good? Eternal life with Jesus Christ. It's super fun. Hello. Ding dong. And if you let us in, we'll show you how it can be done. No thanks? You sure? Oh, well, that's fine. Goodbye. Have fun in hell. Hey now. You simply won't believe how much this book will change. This book will change. This book will change your life. This book will change your life. Hello, would you like to change religions? I have a free book written by Jesus.
No, no, Elder Cunningham. That's not how we do it. You're making things up again. Just stick to the approved dialogue. Elder, show it!
Hello. Hello. My name is
Elder Cunningham.
and we would like to share with you this book of Jesus Christ. Hello. Hello. Hi-ho. Just take this book. It's free. You see, you simply won't believe how much this book will change. This book will change. This book will change your life, so you won't burn in hell. You're gonna die someday, but if you read this book, you'll see that there's another way. Spend eternity with friends and family. We can fully guarantee you that this book will change your life. This book will change your life. This book will
right, and we're back from the break, and right before that, we heard something from the Book of Mormon, which is won a bunch of Tonys, and you can buy the album on iTunes or on Amazon. It's a great album. If you like South Park, you'll really enjoy it. All right, we have a very special guest on the show. Opening this week is Marc Guggenheim. He's our special guest. He's going to talk a little bit about Green Lantern and some other special things. Marc, welcome out to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
No, and well, I'll throw the first question out there. How did you get involved with Green Lantern, the film?
Well, that's a good question. Basically, I started working on Green Lantern now it's 3.5, 4 years ago, actually.
Oh, wow.
And it all started with a flight to California that I took with Greg Berlanti. Greg and I had worked together on a show called Jack and Bobby. And a couple of years later, after Jack and Bobby got canceled, we started working together on a show called Eli Stone. And we were in New York casting for the pilot. And on the flight back to L.A. from New York, he mentioned to me that he wanted to do a Green Lantern movie, that he had this idea for doing a take on Green Lantern that would basically combine superheroes and Star Wars. And I thought, well, wow, that's really fantastic, and it would be a lot of fun. And he asked if I was, if I would be interested in working on it with him. And it's like, come on, I mean, how do you say no to that?
Yeah.
And Greg made a similar invitation to Michael Green, who we had also worked with on Jack and Bobby, and the three of us, basically, decided to, work as a team. Greg went in, pitched his take to the studio. The studio loved it. We went off and wrote, and that's sort of how it all got going.
Being that there's been tons of press hitting about Green Lantern, and it's going to be a huge film. What about the sequel? Are you guys starting to work on it now?
Yeah, we're in the process of working on it right now. In fact, after this interview, I go over the hill because I'm in the San Fernando Valley, and
cool.
I go over the hill and meet with Michael and Greg, and we'll keep working away.
Well, let me ask you on this, because I'm really fascinated about. Well, I know you and Greg worked before on Eli Stone, which I'm a big fan of. I'm really interested in how writing duos work, and in terms of screenwriting. Now, in TV shows, it's a little bit more. I would figure a little bit more easy because at least when the show is going to air, because there's a writer's room. But
right.
After that, though, you guys are off doing. I think Greg was doing Life as We Know It. And then you were probably doing, at the time, your own comic books, Flash Forward, anything else that you had your hands on. How does that work when writing the Green Lantern? Or were you working that at the same time as Eli Stone, and it was a constant thing even after that? You would send pages to each other? How does that relationship work?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Well, first of all, we were writing it while we were doing Eli Stone. We were writing it actually during both seasons, season 1 and season 2, with an interruption in the middle for the writer's strike. And basically, I mean, yes, Greg and I were sort of in the same office because we were both working on Eli, and Michael was off working on his show Kings. But the truth of the matter is that the way we worked was very similar to a writer's room. And essentially, it was weird in the sense that it was like, it was messy and a lot via email and a lot via phone, and sometimes all three of us came together and sometimes two out of the three. And basically the way we did it was we got together in a room, all together for a few days to sort of work out the basic story of the movie. We sort of call it Green Lantern Fest.
Get out of here with that cheese! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you start up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something! This is a happy place!
Trade them amongst ourselves. I would do a pass on Greg's stuff. Greg would do a pass on Michael's stuff. Michael would do a pass on my stuff. I mean, it was sort of a round robin, and one of Greg's incredible talents, he's got many, but I think his best talent is he's a great editor. I don't mean editor in the comic book or journalistic sense, but an editor like the way a filmmaker works. And he likes to sort of take the same approach to scripts that he does in the editing room, which is he has an incredible memory for the millions of different versions of any scene that any one of us will write. And what he does is he sort of, the way an editor would sift through footage, various takes and whatnot, he will sift through all the different iterations of a scene and, cobble together the version of the scene that works the best from stuff that he's written, stuff that I've written, and stuff that Michael's written, and stuff that we've all rewritten of each other's. Through this process of alchemy, at the end of it, we have a script, but it's a very like sort of organic process because it does work a lot like the film editing process.
I don't really know much about comic books, but what little I do know, which I know a little bit more about Marvel than DC Comics, I just want to know what is the difference between the Justice League and the Justice Society?
Oh, it's funny that question went in a different direction than I thought it would. What's the difference? Well, I guess the difference one could say is the difference between the Golden Age and the Silver Age. Since you're not a comic book guy, I'll explain these terms.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I'm here to help.
I just looked at Nick with this deer in the headlights look. Okay, so go ahead.
The Golden Age, Silver Age, what the hell? I didn't even unload the Bronze Age on you.
Oh God, there are more. Okay, go ahead.
The comic book history is sort of broken down into these epochs of eras of publication, and the Golden Age is sort of like the very first superheroes, the founding fathers.
Okay.
And the Silver Age is sort of all their modern day, equivalents. The Flash, Batman, Superman. So I guess Justice League, you could say, is like all the big guns, all the the most publicly recognizable characters that you, even as a non-comic book fan, have probably heard of. Okay. Where the Justice Society is sort of all the heroes who came before them. Like I said, the founding fathers, the comic book 1.0.
Okay, so the Justice League would be like the Silver Age, and then the Justice Society is the Golden Age.
Correct. See.
Okay. This might all leave in about 20 minutes, but for right now, I got okay. No, it makes sense. Now you explained it. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, it's really not any more complicated than that. One could also make the argument that the difference between the Justice League and the Justice Society is one sells 30,000 copies more than the other.
Your website is it public domain? I mean, that we can advertise legalscribe.net, or is that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's my yes. Feel free.
Okay, legalscribe.net. If you check it out, I'll have a link on the podcast goes live. But you have images for the covers up, and I thought it was one of those things where it was like the Justice League of the future, and because literally I'm also like Nate. I'm a little bit more Marvel. I know a little bit more to be dangerous, but I mean I'm mostly more of a Marvel guy. So I was like, oh, Justice Society, is that like Justice League of the future or something? But that's cool.
Sadly, no, it's more the Justice League of the past. Even though it's placed in present day story, present day. But I mean, look, I think Justice Society is, it's a great deal of fun. I mean, these are not just old fogey characters. They're characters with a huge amount of history to them. Not like continuity, not like, oh my God, I can't come in and understand what's going on without knowing, 60 years of comic books. It's just, it's history in the sort of the legacy sense. And I think there's, it's something actually that you can't do with Marvel, because Marvel is that's a product. Marvel Comics and their characters are a product of the Silver Age. So Marvel didn't really have a Golden Age.
Gotcha.
I mean, they kind of technically did under Timely Comics, but I don't want to completely blow your mind. So for all intents and purposes, it's the sort of domain of DC to have a series of Golden Age characters. And Marvel, you just can't do that as well. So that's sort of the,
Right.
I'm sorry, I got all.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Well, I was going to say, I mean, when we last talked to you a few years ago, it was in the throes of trying to desperately just save Eli Stone.
Yes, that worked out.
No, yeah, dude, I gotta say, man, that to me was crushing, because there's not a lot of shows on there that I think have a good message.
You.
Yeah. Well, as a fan, I mean, you're the one who birthed it, you and Greg both. So I feel it must be much worse for you guys and those involved than.
I mean, honestly, I appreciate it. The truth is, you don't have to cry for us because the truth of the matter is that we got a chance to do 26 episodes that we're really proud of.
Mm-hmm.
And in network television these days, doing 26 episodes, that's a blessing.
Paul Reiser.
So I definitely look at the glass as half full.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan was saying Paul Reiser they made more, but 2 never even only made it to air. So especially, you're right. In today's landscape, it's really important that the episodes get made and even air even. And I still say season 1 though is, from front to back, one of the best full seasons of television from beginning to end. And season 2 I really enjoyed, but again, it felt like you guys were expecting to get the back 9. And then, but you left yourself open enough to do a graceful ending that way. So,
Thank you.
No. Now, last time we talked to you, though, you said that there might have been an alternate option besides TV for the show.
Yeah, I was working with Marvel to publish a Eli Stone comic book. And basically what I wanted to do was we'd filmed all the episodes, that were ordered, 13 episodes in the second season, but they had also ordered 4 additional scripts. And so I had these 4 scripts sitting around that were really good. They would have just continued the season, going forward. And, I was talking to Marvel about converting them into comic books. And, unfortunately, Eli is, in many respects, a casualty of the economic collapse. I actually think we would have gotten, that back 9 had the economy been a little bit better. And I also know that Marvel would have been more, basically we were working out the deal to publish when the economy got worse. It just made it harder to sustain from an economic perspective. So it's just one of those, one of those things. The economy affected a lot of people and a lot of things. And,
well, hopefully someday, maybe later down the line, you guys can bring it back, because I know Pushing Daisies has a comic book coming out soon, which I think it's the same thing. Really? That was Pushing Daisies is doing it. It's funny. I personally, look, I would totally be open to it. I would never say no to it, especially since now, in the interim, Marvel has basically been bought out by the same company that owns ABC, which was where Eli aired. Mm-hmm. So I do feel like that would be, a theoretical possibility. I guess sort of the question is, does anyone sort of in charge think that there is a, think that there is a market for, comic book based on a TV show that went off the air a number of years ago? Gotcha.
I hope, the answer, would be yes, but I take absolutely nothing for granted.
Okay. Well, what I was initially going to bring up, though, was when we last talked to you about that, initially it was Eli, I was just getting back into comic books, and you were working on Spider-Man.
Yes.
Who is my favorite superhero, and you were working on character assassination.
Why do I say thank you? I didn't credit. But,
well, no, Green Lantern is very awesome as well. He is... But
something tells me you'd probably go see either movie.
Oh no, you are totally right. You are totally right. I'm going to be there midnight, no matter what.
I can say I'm even.
You're my kind of fan. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I really wanted to say, you've worked on Marvel and DC with character assassination, which was awesome. You pummeled the poor guy, which I like. That's what makes Spidey great, is when you just pummel him.
I agree, actually. I think Spider-Man was pretty much created to be pummeled. So I always, for better or for worse, I always approach, my comic book writing as a fan, because I started out as a fan, I'm still a fan, and I basically write the kind of stories that I like to see and I like to read. And that's, one of the things that I associate with Spider-Man is pain and suffering in the physical and emotional sense. So that's what I try to, write.
Well, what was the difference though, writing for Marvel and now DC? What are the pros and cons of both? I mean, they're both great, especially as a fan. But when you get a bit of dipping your toe in both, universes, what are the pros and cons of both of those?
That's a really good question, and there's such a palpable difference between writing for either universe. The truth is, there's no difference to writing for either company. I mean, both companies are relatively the same, and I've had good experiences at both. But creatively, there is a difference between writing for Marvel, characters and writing for DC characters, or better put, writing the Marvel universe and writing the DC universe. Unfortunately, it is a difference that is incredibly hard for me to articulate.
Gotcha.
The best way I can sort of explain it is not even by explanation, but just by example, which is when I took on Justice Society, I had this notion that I wanted to write the book as if it were a Marvel book, and it's proven, I think, to be a very interesting experiment. Because, well, first of all, like the fans, I think some fans embraced it and really liked it. Other fans were like, this is too dark for these Golden Age characters. Because I do think Marvel has a darker cast to it.
Right.
But it's funny, like even like Tom Brevoort, who's actually, a reasonably big DC fan, I asked him what he thought of the run of Justice Society, and he's like, it's weird. Your characters don't sound like I imagine them sounding. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm writing them more in a Marvel style. It's probably the best sort of way illustration, pun slightly intended, of the difference between Marvel and DC is in the JSA Avengers crossover that Kurt Busiek and George Perez did. There's a terrific sequence that's really quite brilliant, where the Marvel characters go to the DC universe and the DC characters go to the Marvel universe, and it just really dramatizes the difference between the two universes, and that difference is the thing you feel as a writer. They're like two different cars; they just handle differently. And so it's a great question, but it's the type of question that's almost impossible for me to articulate, apart from just saying, like, yeah, Marvel's a little darker and more grounded, and DC's slightly more epic and heroic. But it's the differences are even greater than that. It's more. It goes beyond just tone. It's the whole look and feel of the place.
Well, back in terms of DC, of what you were mentioning, DC, you also now did you and Greg both write it, or are you the head writer on Green Lantern and Emerald Knights?
Oh, thanks for asking about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not the head writer. What happened was the producers of Emerald Knights approached me and Michael Green to write a chapter, because Emerald Knights, for those who haven't seen it, and shame on you if you haven't, Emerald Knights has a framing story with basically Green Lantern, Hal Jordan telling Aricia about the history of the Green Lantern Corps, and then it would flash back to these different chapters. And each chapter has a slightly different animation style, and each chapter was written by a different writer or writing team. And we were asked to write one of the chapters, and Michael and I were actually really excited and very flattered, because neither one of us had written a cartoon before. And I just got my copy last week from Warner Brothers, and I was so excited to show it to my daughters. I have two young daughters. And
that's awesome.
I think I was more excited to show them that than I am for the movie to come out. My kids are too young to see a PG-13 movie, but they were totally the right age for a cartoon, and I was very excited to be able to show them, like, see, this is what Daddy worked on. And also, I'm just really, I do have to say, like, I was genuinely thrilled with the way it came out. It's, like I said, this was a new experience professionally and creatively for me and Michael, and we just really were blown away by how cool it was to see our script realized in animated form, so creatively and so viscerally. It was the end product is really terrific.
Well, do you and you brought up Michael, and I really want a little bit of your projects, because I didn't. Well, Spider-Man not so much, because there's a whole other sort of thing going on there when I was reading that. But all your television or film projects have a bit of a higher power, a sense of a higher power going on. And even in Flash Forward, there was a character that was sort of introduced, and there for a bit, that had a sense of a higher power that was going on. Is that sort of present in even Green Lantern, and when you're writing the Flash, something like that, or is it, again, because it's comic book based, it's not really the drive of the character, or How do you incorporate your writing, your sort of gravitation towards that to the films and other stuff that you do, like Green Lantern and Flash?
Well, I will say, like, I don't think that it's not an intentional incorporation. It's not like I don't sort of go into any project with sort of an agenda. I think every writer, is sort of the same in the sense that we all sort of have our influences, and we have these themes that we're attracted to, and these themes that we continue to return to in our work. But it's not. Generally speaking, it's not really intentional. It's just part of the makeup that you have as a writer that gets sort of, it infuses everything you work on. There's a variety of themes and things that I'm interested in as a writer. That it's not like I'm trying to wedge them in. Any number of things, but it's just it naturally gets sort of subsumed within the scripts that you write.
Well, I find it to be very fascinating. I personally I enjoy it. I dig that it's because it's sort of you're asking them to think a little bit more philosophically about something else and then also the story that you're trying to tell. So
I would say that's to the extent that I do anything sort of intentionally. That's really the thing. I grew up on I grew up on a lot of television, and the television that I loved was stuff like Stand Elsewhere and L.A. Law and Hill Street Blues, stuff that it was entertaining, but it also made you think.
Right.
And it talked about the issues of the day, and I feel like. Not to get on my soapbox, but I feel like we've gotten away from that in entertainment a lot. And, sort of to the extent I have any sort of agenda, I probably do approach my writing with an eye towards looking for those opportunities to, talk about stuff.
Definitely.
And not advance any particular viewpoint. I'm much more interested in the discussion and the debate than in the bottom line.
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff I like to watch and read. It's the kind of stuff I like to write. I like exploring issues, and one of the issues is sort of the issue of a higher power and purpose, and the ephemeral things like faith, that are not the evidence of things not seen.
Right.
Is something that does really interest me, and it probably seeps into my work unconsciously.
Right. Well, especially since Michael, you mentioned this earlier in the interview, but he worked on Kings, which was another show that I thought was just absolutely. It's technically the retelling of the story of King David, but in a modern day story, and it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I wish it would go to Netflix.
Think it's brilliant. I think it is absolutely. It is a brilliant piece of work, and of course, the network audience did not embrace it.
I know.
Which
sad.
is it's such a problem for me. It's a problem I think for anyone who enjoys great network television and who works in network television. I think Kings was so far ahead of its time.
Get out of here with that cheese! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you shut up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something! This is a happy place!
What the fuck am I supposed to say?
They're better than me. And consequently, they make me a better writer. And, I think Kings was a terrific example of just how much Michael outclasses me. But it's, I'm really looking forward to his next TV series, The River, which will come out next year.
What is it called?
It's called The River.
Oh, do you know what network and everything it's on?
Yeah, it's going to be on ABC. It's for mid-season, so it doesn't have a date yet.
Okay.
And it's a supernatural horror show, which is I've seen the pilot, and it's astounding. It's really outstanding and very imaginative and inventive, and all the things, quite frankly, you expect from something that Michael works on.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it. Nate, you had another question you wanted to ask too, right?
Yes. Okay, so just kind of based on the Justice League question I asked prior, as far as you are aware of, will DC be attempting to produce a Justice League film like Marvel has produced the Avengers movie? And then, sorry, go ahead, go off on that. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's a terrific question. I wish I knew the answer. Unfortunately, those decisions take place so far above my pay grade that I'm reading the same stuff on the internet that you are. I think it would be awesome. I think it would be great. I have no idea what their plans are.
Well, do they come to you and sit there and when you're writing it, or when they ask you to write it, or maybe later towards the end of it, where it's like, well, is there any way you can make it a little bit more open-ended in terms of so that maybe if we wanted to, we could ducktail it into, or at least with the Flash, it's probably the same thing, which is they don't really tell you anything, but did they possibly say leave it a little bit more open-ended? Because like Iron Man at the time, at least from what I heard, until like very close to filming, ending the filming, it was very open-ended that it could be part of something larger. And
it's a good question. That's hard. It's hard to explain.
I understand.
Partially it's like at the end of the day, what superhero film isn't going to be open-ended? Mainly because it's like, well, most superhero films, you want to at least leave open the possibility of a sequel.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I think to a certain extent, every superhero film is going to be open-ended. At least the kind of superhero film, like a Green Lantern or a Flash or an Iron Man, that could spawn a franchise.
Definitely.
But I think, I think sort of the ways Marvel has sort of a grand plan is a little different from the approach Warner Brothers is taking.
Gotcha.
Not that Warner Brothers doesn't have a grand plan, but it's a different kind of grand plan. And, a lot of the details of it are like I said, above my head.
Gotcha. Well, you've almost been talking to us for 30 minutes here, so we'll try to give you a few more questions here. One of them being about The Flash. I know you guys are working on it. How far along are you? And initially you said it was sort of CSI-ish. Is that still holding true?
It's funny. I think a lot has been made of that quote, and it's basically as simple as this: the character of Barry Allen in the original Silver Age was a quote unquote police scientist, which is sort of the 1960s equivalent of a CSI,
right?
A forensic detective. So obviously, when sitting down to write the script, we wanted to honor that part of his character. I mean, that's Peter Parker is a photographer for the Daily Bugle. Clark Kent is a reporter for the Daily Planet, and Barry Allen works in forensics at a police department. And that's just as true today as it was back in the Silver Age. So obviously, when you're doing that character, you want to honor that element of the character. Obviously we wanted to update it and modernize it and not make it a police scientist, but make it, as cool and visceral and interesting as I think that world can be. So, you can say CSI, you can say Silence of the Lambs, you sort of, I think we're all sort of very familiar now with this world of forensics and serial killers and all sorts of things. So it's, I wouldn't say it's, what the whole movie's about, but it's certainly an element of the character, so therefore it has to be an element of the movie.
Okay, well again, I mean, I don't really know a lot about, I know enough about the Flash as in, I know what his powers are, I know what he can do, and I know there's like a few of them, but, a few gentlemen who've portrayed the Flash, but, are you guys sticking with I think it's called Flash Force, or am I getting that wrong?
Speed Force?
Speed Force, I'm sorry. See, I was telling Nathan before, I was like, see, I know enough to be barely dangerous with
That's
this.
That's right. I love that. The Speed Force is definitely an element. Again, it's an element of the character, so for sure an element of the movie.
Well, the original Flash from, is it the Golden Age or Silver Age, the original one, that wasn't Speed Force, was it? I mean, it might have been retconned to be, but it initially was like a scientific accident, or?
Yeah, originally he was... originally Barry Allen was struck by lightning in a lab, full of chemicals. And the implication was that the lightning interacting with this mix of chemicals gave him this power of speed. And yes, that was retconned into, he tapped into the Speed Force. I think with the Flash, what we tried to do is what we did with Green Lantern was there are elements of Green Lantern's origin that are very sort of steeped in the Silver Age. It's sort of a 20th century sensibility as opposed to a 21st century sensibility. So just like with Green Lantern, with the Flash, we wanted to like sort of honor all those, you know, historical elements, but give them an update, you know, for the modern day. You know, so, you know, you've got to do the bolt of lightning, but how do you do that in a way that's, you know, that will work for a 21st century audience?
Okay.
You could have him try to be texting, and then he gets struck by lightning.
Why didn't I think of that?
I'm really just kidding. Oh, yeah.
There is texting in the movie. I will say that.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure we actually text a few times in the movie.
Oh, there you go. The matter of fact, the whole story right there for Nathan is based on that texting moment.
I look forward to the Writers Guild arbitration.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we saw Thor, Nathan wasn't a fan of Thor, and that's fine. But you and I will sort of agree with this. Even though I love Spider-Man, every villain is someone Peter knows personally that has had accents with science. Now, granted, that works for Peter in the comic books, but after every movie, at least to Nathan, it got a little repetitive, and with other people too, it can get repetitive, and I understand that. So he's like, was it a scientific accent? So I was like, yes, I think so. So when you were saying that, he was like, oh, God.
Well, if the Flash is from the Golden Age, that's something that happened before everything else, so then that would mean that this would have, like, carte blanche or whatever.
I hate to, I'm trying not to throw too much at you, but, like, unfortunately, the Flash is both a Golden Age character and a Silver Age character. In fact, the Flash is the very first Silver Age character. Allow me to explain. Back in the Golden Age, there was a Flash called. His name was Jay Garrick, and he could run fast. And then in the Silver Age, they introduced a brand new. Basically, it's like, okay, we're going to keep the powers, and we're going to keep the name. Everything else changed, and they created a new character named Barry Allen, but a completely different costume, same powers. So it was the start of the Silver Age, which actually begins with the Barry Allen Flash.
Okay.
The start of the Silver Age was like, we're going to take the concept and we're going to take the name, but everything else changes. Same thing happened actually with Green Lantern. The original Green Lantern was a guy named Alan Scott who had a green ring and he could make things with his ring, but there were no Guardians of Oa, there was no Green Lantern Corps. You know, it was a completely different mythos. And then, Silver Age comes along, and here comes Hal Jordan.
Gotcha.
Same concept, completely different character.
Okay. Okay.
What,
by the way, I think you might have thrown it out there really quick, but just to clarify, or at least Nathan was asking this earlier about which version of the Flash are you using? Are you using Barry?
Oh, we're using the Barry Allen version.
All right. Cool. Oh, well, I mean, you've been really kind of answering all our questions here, Mark. Is there anything else that, besides Green Lantern, which is in theaters by the time this is released, it will be out in theaters, do you have anything, and Emerald Knights, which is on DVD and Blu-ray, do you have anything else you'd like us to plug or mention out real quick?
Oh, no, I appreciate that. I can't think. I mean, Justice Society, I would love, for people to continue reading it. And everything else that I've got sort of in the pipeline or on my desk at the moment doesn't have, hasn't been announced yet, and therefore cannot be plugged.
Gotcha. I understand.
But I do appreciate the opportunity.
No, not a problem. Thank you once again for talking with us, especially after the technical difficulties there. But again, you're a kind soul, sir, and thanks for calling.
Cool. No, thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.
Bye. And that was an interview with Marc Guggenheim. That was that's really great. That was really fun. Actually, I thought we did really. I like to though applaud Nathan though.
Good job, Nate.
On doing a great job on that interview.
It was a good interview.
Those were some good.
It really was.
What was your favorite?
All of it.
Oh.
Well, John, I liked it how you miraculously disappeared for that whole little segment, and then you miraculously,
diarrhea.
Cha cha cha. But no, if you thought any of the interview was interesting or anything else in the episode you want to talk to us about, 614-364-4088, leave us a voicemail or Skype Nick Nitro DJ, or leave us an email at goodbadgeeky@gmail.com. There's our Facebook page, which we got a new title for the page. If you want to go straight to our Facebook fan page, it's facebook.com/capitalized GBG lowercase podcast /. And then there's also Twitter at GoodBadGeeky. What's your Twitter?
Jumpteen.
BETTIN.
Yes.
No spaces. And then Nathan's, what's yours?
Giant Nate.
Giant Nate, no spaces. And of course, if you follow GoodBadGeeky, I tweet out those guys' username handles all the time. And am I forgetting anything else? No. Check out Wilfred.
There you go.
Yes. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Get out of here without cheese! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you showed up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something! This is a happy place!
What the fuck am I supposed to say? What song is that?